back with you once again on the India development debate. We're putting the spotlight on politics. The NDA is coming back to power with a thumping majority. At least that's what the Times Now-VMR opinion poll seems to suggest, which interviewed over 16,931 people across 52 constituencies between the 5th of Feb and the 13th of March. The poll also shows that we've been telling you for a long time, employment is the definite issue. Rafale doesn't seem to cut much ice. BJP's major gain is coming from Bengal and Odisha. It's losing in the north. Remember, opinion polls in India have a history of being uncannily precise sometimes and also for missing the mark miserably. But let's take this across to an expert panel that's joining us right here. Vineet Goenka, member and ex-national co-convener of the IT cell BJP, Adil Singh Boparai, spokesperson of the Congress, Smita Prakash, editor News ANI, and Smita Gupta, the Hindu Center for Politics and Policy. So thank you very much, all of you, for being with us. And my only request to you all will be, if you can keep your answers brief so that I can cover a lot of ground. Smita Prakash, let's start with you. Almost 46% of those polled believe that the BJP government did not fulfill its promise. But what explains the fact that the NDA could come back with a 282, which is well past the majority, and a 52% respondents say that Mr. Modi has a better roadmap for the country than anybody else? If 46% believe promises were not kept and 52% believe that Mr. Modi has a better roadmap, who are they blaming this failure of not being able to keep promises on?
I think they are buying into Mr. Modi's promise that, or Mr. Modi's explanation that just one term is not enough and the task at hand is mammoth. They're also buying in that it's a work in progress as far as jobs is concerned, as far as transforming India is concerned. This, if the poll that you have is that people are overwhelmingly supporting the NDA, despite, as you say, things like rural distress and jobs not being there. In spite of that, they're willing to buy into the NDA promise of better times ahead, rather than the UPA's promise of a change in the way the country is run, about inclusive politics, about farm loan waivers, and everything, and what Mr. Rahul Gandhi is going on talking about Rafale and Chaukidar Chor hai, changing all that and saying that big industrialists will be brought to book. That kind of promise that Mr. Rahul Gandhi is making, people don't seem to be buying into that as per the polls. Also, I can't seem to understand whether there is a UPA or not. Is there a Mahagathbandhan? Is there a UPA? What is the opposition? Because it seems to be some amorphous entity right now. Smita. Not a group which is giving NDA run for its money.
Fair point. That's a valid point, and I'll come to that in just a bit, because that's a question I will deal with when I come to the Mahagathbandhan figures. But Smita Gupta, your namesake, I'm going to go to her. And Smita Gupta, it is a surprising fact that 43% of those polled believe that Rahul Gandhi is today a credible alternative in 2019. He was nowhere close to those numbers before. Has he been able to make a mark, and what are you going to attribute this to? And also, if I may club in a question because of the paucity of time, do you believe these numbers make him a fulcrum around which the anti-Modi bloc could finally be formed around? Or am I reading too much into this?
Well, Mr. Rahul Gandhi has been president of the Congress for, a year and 3 months now. And during that period, he has, they managed to form a government in Karnataka, even though they weren't the largest party. And they were able to win 3 major heartland states, even if the results in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan were narrow. I think this has added to his credibility as a leader. However, the fact that your poll numbers, if they are correct, in fact they are correct, the fact that it is still not translating into, you're suggesting that the NDA could still come back, those numbers are still suggesting. That is because I think the Mahagathbandhan has not yet taken shape, and even though Rahul Gandhi, if in the event that the opposition is able to form a coalition anytime between now and the elections, and in the post-election period emerges as the single largest, clearly the Congress party, as things stand, stands to be the single largest party in that formation, and as the leader of that formation, he would be the most likely figure. But the thing is that we have seen that the other opposition leaders, whether it's Mamata Banerjee or Mayawati, none of them seems to want at this moment to back him. That has added to a kind of uncertainty, apart from the
Fair
fact
point, yes.
that, of course, the Mahagathbandhan has not formed.
Ms. Smita Gupta, give me a minute. I will go across to the politicians, and again, I'm going to request all of you to be brief so that I can cover a lot of ground. Vineet Goenka, over 40% of people, and I'm really jumping straight into what the statistics tell us as far as the issues are concerned. Over 40% people believe that joblessness is going to be the most defining issue of this election. How worried should the BJP be on that count?
See, every election we are worried, whether it is general elections at the national level or a corporation election and everything. We are worried because, as a political party, we have to be very sensitive and take every case very seriously. Now, in this particular case, we will go out, share the data which we have with the people, we'll share the case studies and probably challenge the narrative which has been done by Congress and Congress supporting organizations. And we'll come out and tell them how the jobs were created. And I have given examples on your own channel, on your own debate, how the jobs have been created. So now this narrative will be broken by us. We will also put forward the clean government of the last 5 years, scam-free government of the last 5 years. And we will also tell the people how transparency has helped us to zip the leakages which was to happen in the public exchequer. That particular point will take to the people. And also on the front of Balakot, how did we, respond back to the terrorist attack which happened in Pulwama?
No, 1 second. Vineet Goenka, what about jobs? Vineet Goenka, what about jobs? Please answer my question in one line now. What about jobs? You can tell people whatever you have to. But a large number of people, 40% believe jobs is going to be an issue.
Now let me tell you, I didn't want to zip into that, but let me tell you, if you see the number of income tax pays in 2014 and today, how many crore people have increased? That shows that there is an income. Otherwise, why would people pay income tax? Number two, number of people who are registered in EPF, Provident Fund, jumped over 72 lakh. Why would people pay PF if they don't have jobs? Number three, let me tell you, madam, we have built so many kilometers of road. Roads are not built in air. They requires hands, ma'am. If you want to, in unorganized sector, let me tell you, 27 lakh new auto rickshaws were added. I can go on how many number of tractors were added in the last 5 years. That all shows there were jobs, ma'am. Now there is a narrative which comes up. We will go to the people who have got jobs, who have got mudra loans to become MSME, the support system which has been given by the government, they would be all happy.
Okay. I do hope that people will be convinced by this, because 40% of those believe that joblessness is going to be an issue. But there's an equally uncomfortable question for the Congress party and others in Boparai. Almost 18% believe that loan waiver and schemes for agriculture, and this is the second highest issue, mind you. 18% believe that loan waiver and schemes for agriculture is going to be a big defining issue. How worried then should the Congress be with the Kisan Samman Yojana, the 2000 dole out? 55.5% of those polled believe that the 6,000 income support will help the farmers. They look at it favorably. How worried should the Congress party be? Because you were tom-tomming for a very long time that rural distress will take a toll.
Well, Supriya, firstly, a sample pool of 16,000 respondents, in our opinion, does not capture the essence of a country of 1.3 billion people. And going by the history of these surveys, they've been often way off the mark, Chhattisgarh being the most recent example. But coming to your question, the Congress party has never said that the loan waiver is the sole panacea for agrarian distress in this country. There has to be a multi-pronged approach. We have to bring food parks in every district. We have to ensure that the marketing rules are simplified. We have to ensure that rural infrastructure is developed. But coming to the most critical issue today, it is unemployment. Now, the NSSO is not an ISI funded organization. Let's be very clear. The BJP may want us to believe that the Chinese and the Pakistanis have infiltrated the NSSO. The NSSO is a very esteemed agency of the government of India, and they have said that unemployment is at a 45-year high. Now, my friend from the BJP often indulges in back of the envelope number crunching and says, well, if X jobs are created, therefore this means that employment is generated. The fact of the matter is, the only credible empirical data is the NSSO, and today unemployment tops the chart. This is point number one. Point number two, the BJP tom-toms about national security, and so do multiple proxies of theirs in the media. The fact of the matter today, I'm coming to that point. I'm coming to that point. The biggest failure of Mr. Modi perhaps is also in the national security front. The fact that Supriya ji, if you're going to interrupt me like this, it breaks my rhythm. Please give me 30 seconds.
I'm not letting politicians speak on national security. It's a rule on my show. No, Adil, just listen to me. It's a rule on my show
that I don't let
politicians speak on Balakot and Pulwama till such time that elections are on. I will not let you, or I will not let Vineet Goenka utter the word Balakot or Pulwama. I will not let you do that. That's how I do debates. That's the principle journalists should follow. We are around the elections. Don't politicize security. I will say that for Vineet Goenka. I'll also say that for you. But I'll go back to Smita Prakash. And Smita Prakash, the BJP did reservations at the last minute, the 10% for the economically backward section. It doesn't seem to have scored very well. What's that a miscalculated move?
See, what Adil just spoke about farm distress and what you spoke about reservation, I've just noticed, if I was to just step back from this survey, if I was to just step back and look at what Adil just said, I've just noticed that some of the spokespersons of the Congress are so articulate when they give explanations of how to solve, whether it is the job crisis or whether it is to solve the agriculture crisis. But when it comes to Rahul Gandhi, when he goes on stage, I just don't understand why this is not translated or this is not mirrored in his speeches. When he goes on stage, he just goes on with Chaukidar Chor Hai, and he starts talking about Rafale and things like that, which just does not resonate. Even today, when Priyanka Gandhi was on stage, now everybody, all TV channels cut to that. It became a media event. In spite of Goa, this was the media event, was Priyanka Gandhi. And when she came out there, and she also started talking about esoteric issues, Samvidhan Sankat mein hai. Who's talking about constitutional crisis when you go into small towns and villages? Talk about what Adil spoke about just now, which is, creating food parks. And today, in Odisha, there's been labor distress. There was lathi charge because laborers went and said, give us jobs in front of a factory. There was lathi charge on that. This is what is happening, where laborers are coming to factories and demanding jobs right out there, and there's lathi charge. This is the level of job insecurity that has come into small towns and villages. And if they cannot at this moment capitalize on that 1 month before elections, and instead they talk about Samvidhan, tell me, is it not a think tank issue rather than an electoral issue?
I think some will agree with you, some will disagree that if politicians don't raise this issue, who will? But yeah, you have a valid point that we should perhaps be attacking in terms of the opposition issues that are of, more political and electoral relevance. But I think on the issue of Mahagathbandhan, and this is a very fascinating data that I have here, over 33%, I'm really counting the two categories together. The ones who believe that ideologically the Mahagathbandhan partners are very committed, and B, that they could be good. That combination is 33%, and 33% of those polled believe that the Mahagathbandhan politics could be either a viable alternative or they genuinely believe in ideology. You contrast with those who believe it is mere opportunism, a shade below 33% at 32%. So it's not as if India is very, very averse to Mahagathbandhan. We saw how it panned out in 96. We saw the dream budget. So it's not as if Mahagathbandhan is something that India is totally averse to. The regional satraps are important and people are warming up to them. Smita Gupta.
Absolutely, and when people talk about Mahagathbandhans, there are two models. People keep looking at the VP Singh and Deve Gowda experiment, but after all, the Vajpayee-led government was a coalition government, very successful government, which lasted for 6 years, 1 year plus 5, and the Congress-led UPA similarly was a success. It ruled for 10 years. Apart from that, even if you look at the United Front government of Deve Gowda, statistics shows us that economically the country did well. The fact is, in India, democracy has taken deep roots, and it doesn't really matter whether you have a coalition government or whether you have a majority government. A coalition government in some ways scores over a majority government because it best reflects the diversity in our country and the many shades of opinion. And anybody who leads a coalition government has perforce to take everybody's views on board. And I think so that is why I think that is being reflected in the numbers that your survey is showing, where there are seem to be an equal number of takers for a coalition government as for a majority government.
Okay. Okay, just give me a minute and I will quickly take two last questions from the two politicians on the show. Please be brief. Vineet Goenka, the BJP, according to the survey, seems to be losing a lot, about more than 40 odd seats in Uttar Pradesh, but gaining massively in Odisha and West Bengal. About 14 odd seats in Odisha and about 11 in West Bengal, which is a gain of 20 seats as against 2014. Can this realistically be possible?
I'll tell you, let the survey speak anything. We will learn from the surveys. If the surveys are really good, we will take this with a pinch of the salt and work very hard. And in case the surveys are not appropriate, we'll prove to the world. But on 23rd of May, probably you see the number game. And I am very, very confident. My team is confident, and everybody who is working under Amit ji's leadership and Modi ji's leadership is confident. We will come back with majority, and also the numbers in each state will be up. Yes, plus you rightly said, what will happen in Odisha or West Bengal or the states where we were not there earlier, or maybe Kerala, probably we'll have positive numbers. As far as Uttar Pradesh goes, if you permit me to give you two sentences, Congress has been summarily rejected by their partners, BSP and SP. The way Mayawati ji has treated Rahul Gandhi ji or Priyanka Robert Vadra ji there, that shows that even local parties there don't approve them. So if they are not been approved by the local parties, how would they go ahead with the alliances? And my team, my party, my alliances are intact and they are working very, very hard. So if there are some shortfalls, we will, in the next 60 days, we'll make them up, and I'm sure we'll get more seats than what we had.
I just hope you've spoken to your allies. You're going with the largest number of allies ever, at 29 odd allies in these elections. That gives you a sense of how important allies suddenly are, both for the BJP and the Congress, and elections 2019 is going to be a test of alliances. But a quick last word, and Adil, only 2.9% believe that Rafale is going to be an election issue. If this survey turns out to be true, then looks like, issues like tax ops, Jandan, Ujwala, caste reservations seem to have worked. If this turns out to be true, have you wasted a lot of your political capital on an issue that may not resonate? It may take off Mr. Modi's sheen for sure, but it may not electorally resonate with the electors on the ground.
Well, one preliminary point on the agricultural front. Now, this is the Government of India's own affidavit before the Supreme Court that more than 15,000 farmers committed suicide in the year 2015, which is an approximately 12% jump from the UPA years. This is as far as the agrarian distress is concerned. Coming to your question, Supriya ji, when you go in an election, it's always a combination of issues. It's Mr. Modi's false promises, it is unemployment, it is agrarian distress, it is certainly corruption, Rafale, Nirav Modi, and a host of other issues, including the breakdown of constitutional machinery, including the collapse of institutions. And also, let's not lose sight of the fact today that there is a real danger to our syncretic culture. So all these issues cumulatively matter. Now, responding to the BJP, Mr. Modi promised 2 crore jobs. The country yearns to know, where are these jobs? Mr. Modi talks about the Ujwala Yojana. Today, the price of a cylinder is 1,000 rupees. Do you think people have the money to afford the second cylinder? So this is nothing but BJP spiel. Now, point number 3, the BJP promised C2 plus 50%. The reality is that today the farmers are not even getting A2 plus FL. So these are real issues. Today the BJP controls all channels of communication. They are dominating the propaganda machinery. Therefore, they're able to build up this narrative. But let me tell you, people are yearning for a change, and the 23rd of May, there will be a resounding answer.
Okay. I have completely... Okay. Sorry, I have completely run out of time here. Thank you very, very much, Adil Singh Boparai, Vineet Goenka, Smita Gupta and Smita Prakash for being with us. This is the Times Now-VMR poll. It gives you a sense of what the mood of the nation is like. But guess what? Electors on the ground know the reality best. And on the 23rd of May, we will know what India has decided. Till such time, we will only hope and expect our politicians to maintain the highest standards of polity, to ensure that the debates and discussions happen around subjects and issues that really matter to us, the electorate, which is jobs, which is health, which is education, which is the safety of our women. Let us not mar the political discourse. But on that note, thank you very much for being with us on this edition of the India Development Debate.